This video is sponsored by OWC. The newly redesigned MacBook Pros are finally available today, and so we are starting to get some orders coming in. This is the current base model M1 Pro 14-inch MacBook Pro, and I'm using the front-facing new 1080p camera. And for reference, here is last year's M1 MacBook Pro. And as you can see here, there is quite a bit of difference in quality on the camera. I want to know what you guys think in the comments down below. And we'll also see the difference in mic quality as well. You can let me know which one sounds better. And yeah, so in this video, we're going to do a quick unboxing. I'm going to tell you some of my first thoughts. I've only been messing around with this computer for about an hour or so, and I have quite a bit of thoughts. Spoiler alert, this thing is really, really good. So first things first, unboxing the MacBook Pro isn't too different than, say, the M1 from last year, but you do get some black stickers this time inside of the box, as well as a new USB-C to MagSafe braided charging cable, along with its corresponding USB-C charging brick. Yes, for those who might have somehow missed it, MagSafe is back and it's capable of fast charging your new MacBook Pro. Or you can also just fast charge via one of the USB-C ports on either side of the machine. The design is a bit different, and at first glance from the photos that I saw when they originally announced it, I really couldn't tell much of a difference. But when I first took this thing out of the box, I'm immediately taken back to the PowerBook G4 days with this whole squared off design. Think of like a cross between the 2015 MacBook Pro before the redesign in 2016 and then the PowerBook G4. There's some fancy new MacBook Pro branding on the bottom of the MacBook Pro, and of course the return of even more ports like HDMI and SD card slot, alongside the previously mentioned MagSafe connector, 3 USB-C Thunderbolt 4 ports, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. Now, flipping this thing open and seeing that notch, it really hits you for like a second that it looks kind of strange, compared to at least what you've probably been used to for all of these years. But I'm telling you, within about 30 seconds of actually using the machine, you get used to it and it just fades into the background, just like your phone. The new keyboard is really nice. It feels a bit different than last year's model. It's a little quieter, it feels a little softer in my opinion, but it's still really nice to type on. I'm a fan of the removal of the touch bar. I never used it. And instead, you get a full key function row instead of the normal smaller sized keys that we've seen in the past. I'm also a fan of the whole blacked out look this keyboard has going on here as well. As far as the screen goes, I'm absolutely blown away by the quality. The mini LED display looks fantastic. It's incredibly bright, vibrant, and crisp. I've been kind of using the M1 and the new M1 Pro MacBook side by side, and just like looking at the other one, it's pretty noticeable. The reduced bezels and the edge-to-edge feel of this display looks really nice, and while I don't think ProMotion is super noticeable in most tasks, scrolling through web pages is buttery smooth and probably where you're going to notice ProMotion the most, at least in my opinion. Now, I haven't watched a whole lot of content on it, so maybe that will change, but definitely scrolling through articles on web pages and Twitter or something, you're going to definitely notice it. As I believe I said earlier, this is the base model 14-inch M1 Pro MacBook Pro, and so it was only right to compare it really quickly to the M1 base model MacBook Pro from last year. And so far, again, I'm loving this slightly bigger form factor and especially the display. The new design is fantastic, and while I haven't seen any real-world performance differences yet, I mean, it's only been like an hour or two of testing this machine, the Geekbench scores do confirm that you're going to get at least double the performance in multi-core as well as GPU. Now, we do have a pretty maxed out build of the 16-inch M1 Max MacBook Pro arriving later today, so let us know in the comments what you want to see with that model. We'll be putting it through its paces as well. But so far, I'm incredibly impressed with this 14-inch M1 Pro base model machine. Oh, and real quick, the new speakers on this MacBook is absolutely mind-blowing. I'm trying not to throw that out too much because I feel like I've been saying that a lot, but It is 10 decibels, like consistently louder than last year's M1 MacBook Pro, but it also sounds better even at that extreme high volume. There's so much more low end, so much more mids. It's just, everything just sounds so much better in comparison to the M1 MacBook. No distortion at max volumes either. It sounds perfect. I honestly think you could probably get away with using these speakers full time along with maybe some new AirPods or something. If you want to skip having desktop speakers on your desk, you could definitely get away with these, and you can just keep everything minimal and it sounds so good. Of course, I'd love to know your thoughts on this MacBook Pro so far in the comments down below. What do you think? Are you getting one? Are you thinking about getting one? Go ahead and let me know in those comments. And before we end today's video, I do want to give you more information about today's sponsor, OWC. With new MacBook Pros being officially released to the public, OWC wanted to highlight its ever-growing catalog of fantastic accessories for MacBook Pros, like its super fast slate of drives, like the Envoy Pro Electron and Envoy Pro SX SSDs, both of which are super fast, rugged, and perfect to pair with your new MacBook Pros, as well as some of its Thunderbolt docks and hubs. Even though Apple has added some ports back to its machines, you can really never have enough. So if you want my recommendation, I would maybe check out the OWC Thunderbolt dock, which comes with 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports and 4 USB ports, as well as the ability to connect either 2 4K external displays or a 5, 6, or 8K display. Or if you wanted something a bit more mobile, I would recommend checking out the Thunderbolt hub from OWC, which gives you an extra USB-C, USB-A, as well as some other ports that one might need in a smaller form factor. And for more information about any of these accessories that's perfect for your new MacBook Pro, or just any more information on OWC in general, click the link in the description down below. This has been Dan with MacRumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video.